You're in the middle of a conversation. Someone walks in. You've known them for years, and then nothing. You realize their name has completely vanished from your mind. You cover it. You smile. You call them friend. Or worse, watching a lifelong friend look at you, waiting for an introduction, while you scramble in the dark for a word that will not come. And later, when you're alone, you wonder, is this just getting older, or is something changing? But what most people don't know is that forgetting names is almost never a sign of serious decline. It's a sign that your brain hasn't been given the right tools. And tools, unlike age, can be learned. So today we'll look at 4 simple science-backed memory techniques that can help protect your memory and change how your mind stores and retrieves information. They're simple enough to start today, and they work specifically for how the brain changes after 60. So let's meet Dorothy. Dorothy is 67. She spent 30 years as a school administrator. She ran meetings, remembered every staff member's name, every parent's name, the names of hundreds of children over the years. Then she retired, and things quietly began to shift. It started with names, then appointments, then the word she wanted mid-sentence. Just gone. She started dreading her book club, her church gatherings, any room with people she should have known. What changed things for Dorothy wasn't a pill or a program. She stopped passive viewing and started active brain training. Here's the exact 4-step mental blueprint she used to reclaim her confidence. Trick number 1, the name-face association method. The number one memory complaint among adults over 60 isn't losing keys, it's forgetting names. And this technique was built for exactly that. When you meet someone new, most of us hear the name, nod politely, and immediately forget it. That's because we never actually store it. The name-face association method changes that. When you use this strategy, you're targeting your working memory and visual processing centers. You're training your mind to build a structural bridge between a new voice and a clear visual cue. Here's how it works. When you meet someone, let's say Heist's name is Mr. Baker, you don't just hear the name. Don't just repeat the name. Mentally picture him wearing a giant, comical white chef's hat while holding a loaf of bread. The more unusual the mental picture, the easier it is for your mind to hold. And your brain holds on to images far better than it holds on to words. The active trial, one of the largest cognitive training studies ever conducted, following over 2,800 older adults, found this mnemonic approach to be among the most effective strategies for improving name recall in this age group. The effect was both immediate and lasting. So the next time you're introduced to someone, don't just hear the name, see it. Trick number 2, the memory palace. You do not need a completely different brain to remember more. You just need to use the physical spaces you already know by heart. This second truck is over 2,000 years old. Ancient Greek and Roman orators used it to deliver hours-long speeches without a single note, and modern neuroscience has confirmed exactly why it works. The memory palace, also called the method of Loci, uses something your brain already does naturally. Remember places. Think of your home. Right now in your mind, you can probably walk through every room. You know where the armchair is, where the kitchen window faces, the specific corner where you always leave your bag. Now imagine placing pieces of information along that route. Each location in your home holds one thing you want to remember. To recall the list, you simply walk through your home, in your mind, and pick up each item as you pass it. It sounds elaborate, but research shows it becomes second nature quickly. Scientists found that older adults trained in this method showed meaningful memory improvements that weren't temporary. In fact, participants showed sustained memory benefits across 5 years of follow-up. And beyond memory scores, research published in peer-reviewed journals has shown that this technique is associated with changes in cortical thickness, which is physical changes in the brain itself. So start small, use your own home, pick 5 locations and 1 piece of information for each. Do it once a day for a week, and be patient with yourself. The benefit is structural and durable. Before we continue, if you found this video helpful so far, tap the like button and subscribe, and leave us a comment below. Tell us, which of these first 2 techniques are you most likely to try? We read every comment, We're building a strong and active community for adults over 60 right here, and your presence truly makes a difference. Let's show that strength has no age limit. Okay, now back to the rest of the video. Trick number 3. Spaced repetition. Most of us learn to study by reading something over and over in one sitting. That's called massed learning. We crammed our brains with information all at once without giving our minds any time to rest. And research has consistently shown that it's one of the least effective ways to make information stick. Spaced repetition is the opposite. Instead of repeating something immediately, you wait. You review it today, then tomorrow, then in 3 days, then a week later. Each gap slightly longer than the last. That slight effort to retrieve something, that moment of reaching for a memory, is exactly what strengthens it. To integrate this into your day, do not repeat a new name 10 times the very second you hear it. Instead, say it once, then wait 1 minute and use it in a sentence. Address the person by name 5 minutes later before you walk away. Finally, mentally recall the name right before you go to sleep that evening, and once more the following morning. One study found that the spacing effect is particularly powerful for long-term memory, and that it benefits older adults at longer intervals regardless of age-related learning differences. In other words, the gap between repetitions is doing work your brain can genuinely use. You don't need an app for this. A small notebook works perfectly. Write down a new name, a fact, or something you want to hold on to. Review it tomorrow, then in 3 days, then next week. Let the forgetting begin and then beat it. Trick number 4, visualization and storytelling. The brain doesn't store facts the way a cabinet files papers. It stores experience, color, texture, emotion, movement. The more vivid something is, the stronger the memory trace. Dry facts and isolated names are easily dropped, but your mind rarely forgets a great story. Visualization and storytelling take dry information and give it life. So say, you have a dentist appointment on the 14th. Instead of repeating the number, picture yourself walking into the waiting room, into the specific chair you always sit in, the magazine on the table, the date on your phone. Build it into a small scene. Or, if you need to remember to lock the back door, pick up your prescription, and call your sibling later today, do not just write a list. Create a quick story. Imagine your sibling standing by your back door holding a giant key and waving a glowing green medicine bottle. Or you meet someone named Robert. Robert has a red tie. Red Robert, there's your scene. The stranger the image, the better. The brain's attention system lights up for novelty, and what it pays attention to, it holds. This technique costs no time and no equipment. It just requires a deliberate pause, 2 seconds before you walk away from something you want to remember, to turn it into a picture. 2 seconds. That's the habit. Neurological research consistently shows that the brain retains the wonderful ability to adapt, grow, and rewire itself at any age. These 4 exercises are not just clever shortcuts. They're real resistance training for your mind. Engaging these different areas daily builds a shield of cognitive reserve that protects your independence. Dorothy still has moments. She'll tell you that directly. The word for something will slip, or she'll walk into a room and stand there for a beat longer than she'd like. But something has shifted. Last month, she hosted her book club, 11 people. She greeted every one of them by name, without a pause, without a cover story. When someone new joined partway through, she used the name face technique on the spot and got it right on the first try. She didn't get a sharper memory. She got a more deliberate one. And that, it turns out, is the thing worth having. Remember, you don't have to master all 4 of these overnight. Be patient with yourself. Start slowly. Use support or written notes if you need to, and celebrate the small victories. In fact, like Dorothy, you can practice the memory palace technique while you're brushing your teeth, or the name-face association method while preparing a morning meal. So pick one technique from this video, just one. Practice it every day this week. That's not a small thing. That's how it starts. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to stay in the club. Share it with someone who might need it. Tell us in the comments, which of these memory techniques would you practice today? Thanks for watching. Move calm, live strong, and I'll see you in the next one.